Alright, welcome back to a league race. Ugh. And that intro never gets any easier, man. Anyways, we are back with a GT1 race at Fuji for week number 8. So, this is our designated wet week. It does not mean that the race is entirely wet. A few chaps from GT2 admins just chose our weather, just as Tom in GT1 chose the GT2 weather for their wet week. So, yeah, this is what the upshot was at the end of it, though. It did dry out quite significantly towards the end of qualifying, at the end of 15 minutes. Lap times went down and down the whole time, essentially. So, yeah, initially it's going to be a P2, but I'll quickly fall down the field here. Just really, if you were where you positioned yourself, really towards the end of the session. So this ended up being 9th in the end, but yeah, the key difference once we got into this lobby was that it dried up so much quicker than anything we had done before, to the point where dries would be viable early on, whereas we'd been practicing up to this point that you'd just stay on the inters even though the track dried a little bit, and then you go into inters again once the second wave of rain came, and that's where we're at with this. So here we go then. 5 red lights.
Oh, a full start, boys. It's great.
And away we go. We didn't fall for James's false start in front of us there, but not the worst start in the world. I guess we do lose a position to Biggles. But other than that, I felt like the start in the wet was okay. And we're just going to take it nice and gently down to turn 1. Lay on the brakes. Going to the back of Ross slightly, but you know, we get away with that at least. There's contact on the outside and the inside. We've got Zach switchback on the right, Chubbs on the left, and then Zach drops back. But we do have Oven though in the slipstream of Chubbs. Trying to go lay in the brakes, trying to get, and then Chubbs slots in front, so nothing doing there. Just trying to, you know, the optimal tire is wet, you know, but you know, we're going to try and stick it out on inters. Oh, car wanted to go there. Tank slapped McGee. Yeah, it was indeed. I want to try and sneak down the inside of Chubbs, but I can't. And James there is on my right. Snap of the rear end for Chubbs. We're going to try and get the slipstream of Ross. We're in a nice little place here. We're going to go around the outside. Ross gets a snap on. We've got Chubbs in front, braking, and then there's contact with Chubbs, and he goes off the track. And I go deep into the chicane as well. And then heading into the second part of the chicane, then just on the exit, I just take too much curb and lighter the car up, and we are around. So the contact with Chubbs, I have to say, looking back at it, he broke so early. I apologize to him afterwards for the contact, but having looked at back at this, I think he was, and he said himself in the message, he said to me that he was quite early on the brakes. And looking back, I was like, wow, that was earlier than I expected him to be on the brakes with no car in front there. So I think we were taking our braking point just fine. But yeah, I thought his was very early, looking back at that now. But anyways, what's done is done, and he makes a mistake then lap 2, and we move up to P13. But we're kind of 7 seconds off the field here, a bit off a pack. We did close that down. Our pace was okay. We were closing this pack down. It's like, all right, we're closing in here. We're not out of anything yet here. This was the silly one. I've not spun in this part of the track before. That was tough. So we lost about 6 seconds or so with that. Yeah, that was tough. So 2 silly spins in the opening 3 laps kind of puts us in a pretty bad spot with a long way to go here. So yeah, difficult one to stomach that. 2 spins I've not really made before. I've spun coming out of turn 1 and other places, but yeah, not quite there. Pace was good though. Like, look at that. We're lap 7. Heading on to lap 7, the gap is 6.6, and a lot of the pack is right there. So our pace is really good in clean air. We used to have fastest lap there as well, but that's more so dependent on our positioning on the track being further back. Lap 8 then. Again, this is the first time I've ever had to do this in a practice run. No practice run I had up to this point had us pitting this early for dries. Again, we just went inter, and then soft to end. But we're only allowed to use 1 set of softs per race. That's always been the rule for this season. So I don't want to use my set of softs now because I know it's going to dry later in the race. So I'm putting my mediums on now. Other people put their softs on now. So I'm taking this pain now. And I had to go for this gamble. Some people stayed out on inters. Only a handful less than a handful of us went on to dry tires. I was one of them. I had to do something. Nice and gentle out of the pit lane. We've learned our lessons from Autopolis, I hope. So stay on the dry stuff. Really concentrate. Be careful of the curbs. Follow the dry line no matter what it takes. And I know it's going to rain around lap 14, 15 or so. So, you know, we've got enough of a dry running that we can make something work out of this. Simon has an off there, and that was I know we ghosted there, thankfully, but that was close. This corner was the tough one. You had to take a really narrow line to stay on the dry stuff there, because otherwise you wouldn't normally go so narrow into that corner. You have to be really, really careful. So we're dodging all the pitfalls here, slowly but surely making our way back into the equation here. Again, it's not going to be immediately apparent, but we're doing some really good work right here. Chubbs is on inters, so we're going to get this move done then on him. I still can't figure out how to... I need to look this up next time, because I couldn't zoom out on my weather radar as to when the rain was coming in. So I don't know how to do it. I need to... Because I pressed down and it looked back, so... Yeah, I don't know. I need to figure that out. But anyways, lap 14, the rain was just about to come in, so this was the time to pit. Had to be done right now. So I followed my teammate Tom into the pits here, and a few others who pitted as well. So we're going to fill up here to the end of the race. But the other thing I didn't account for, that I'm only discovering for the first time now, is that because we had that running on dries, we've used a little bit more fuel than normal, and because of that we're not going to be able to get to the end of the race as we normally would have we had been on inters up to this point. We will have to make a little bit of a splash and dash towards the end, but we're going to do that. We're going to be pitching for dries anyway, but a little inconvenience, because, you know, every practice session I've done up to this point, we fuel to the end here and we get to the end here. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And you can see, look, we're still, you know, lap 16, we're in P12, where, you know, I was like, oh man, have we not made anything up at all? So I was like, oh man, I thought I'd done a little bit better running than that in the dry. But you'll see how kind of things fall into shape slowly but surely. Yellow flag first, then Ross was round. I think he was battling with Pagani, and he goes round, and so he's rejoining just at a point where we're catching him. He's got a bit of a twitch. We have to adjust our line somewhat here. Again, he's trying to get the feel the tires again. I think some people use... I was trying to sneak down the inside here. It's a tiny bit of contact. I think some people again were running one traction. I just was not running any traction. Maybe I should have done it for the first lap or three, but anyways, side by side with Ross then on the outside. Oh, I tell you, brave to keep the throttle pinged full wet on these in these conditions, and car slipping under braking as well. It was a difficult one. But we get that move done, and again we're kind of going again. Pagani is kind of, I think he's catching some of the guys in front. He's not a million miles away. Lap 24, you see the time we made up to Pagani towards the end of that stint. But now it's time to come into the pits, sloppily mind you, and now it's time to get soft. So yeah, we didn't have as much running on. I want to have more running on softs than I did on medium, and so I knew there was going to be a bit more of a stint on softs at the end. So I wanted to have the advantage then, rather than in that first bit, although there was a lot of times we made up at that point. Nice and gently here. Plenty of people have spun coming out of the pits. I'm not one of them. I'm very pleased about that. So we emerge in ninth, which is immediately better than we've been for the majority of this race. And we're on soft compound tyres. And there are others yet to pit still. So all of a sudden we've worked ourselves into a nice little spot here, where it's very quietly become an excellent recovery drive. But we're not done yet. Lap 26... a couple of people come slipping out of the pits. In front of Zach and James having wobbles, and they're both going to be right into our clutches here. James is on mediums, having used his softs when he pitted early on to dries. Again, not everyone pitted for dries. The likes of Sean, Lee went inters. Chubb stayed out on his inters. So there were people that did try. So people did try to stay out on their inters and didn't go to dry. So again, it was just where you're at. Then Zach spins there, so that's up us into 8th. But I tell you what, it was James's pace was really flipping good here. I struggled to reel him in. He was catching these guys in front. You can see there's Will, and then there's Sean in front of him, and Biggles is only a few seconds up the road in there. That's 4th place up the road. So you can see we're very close to the fray of things here, but there's a few cars in between. I struggled again. The track dried, slow to dry out at times, so I couldn't use a full grip of the wet or the softs, because there's still wet parts that I couldn't use all the track for. But anyways, here we go then. finally into the slipstream of James, who was a couple of seconds ahead a few laps ago. And a late move onto the brakes, down the inside. I know I could go late on those softs, make the apex beautifully. And that is job done. That's a big move into P7. Very pleased about that. Good racing there. We were chasing him for most of that soft stint. So I didn't have enough of the tyres left to have any go at. It was too late in the race to have a go at Panda or Sean. And James was arguably quicker than us at the end of the race here. But Tom wins another wet race, so excellent result for him. We had a really good result, 4th and 5th for the Jaeger Diamonds in GT2, and so I'm low-key very happy with this recovery drive. I've been nowhere for most of it. 2 spins early on. Yeah, you take away 10 seconds and the fuel stuff, and we could have definitely been fighting for 4th, but honestly, to recover to P7 from where we were, I think I'm low-key very, very pleased with, not even low-key, I'm very well pleased with that recovery drive. I thought that was considering the conditions and the various pitfalls, like once we got the strategies right, we drove really well, made a good move on James at the end there as well to get an extra position. I'm really pleased about that result. I think that was an excellent recovery drive in 7th. Yeah, not too shabby whatsoever. Anyways, here are the standings. You've seen the Pro-Am ones just a second ago. They're in the main standings. We're kind of in 3rd, and it's going to take a pretty large circumstance to not finish in the top 3. So, yeah, that's an incredible season right there. It looks like me and Tom will finish in the top 3. Witchell has won the title, so congrats to him. He's seen the deal at this one, of course. And, yeah, so it really just means we just have to look at the teams heading in. A good week for Homer and Royston in GT2. I think they both finished at the top. I think they finished 4th and 5th at Trial Mountain Reverse. That's the one. No, sorry, Deep Forest Reverse. Here's the standings then. Jaeger Dive Bomb 780. So it's going to take a pretty big upset for us to not be top here after 9 weeks. So yeah, that's going to be great. Top 3 obviously qualify for the main event, for the grand finale event. 4, 5, and 6 go through the playoff, which is a Group 2 race at Interlagos, which we won't have to get ourselves involved in because, mathematically there's still a chance we fall out. But I can tell you, after the GT2 result alone, before we even raced at Kyoto and Miyabi, we are already automatically through. So, which means we just get to sit back and, after Kyoto, we go on to the grand finale, and that's all there is to it. So next week, looking to finish the top the season and be the top team after 9 weeks. So I think it does mean something in its own right. Even though there's a grand finale event to be had, I still think we have been the best team across the 9 weeks, and we do deserve some recognition for that. But anyways, next up then is going to be Kyoto and Miyabi. So that should be an interesting one. I can tell you it was an interesting one for a few reasons, because it's already taken place as I'm finishing off this. So yeah, it should be fun. But anyways, thanks very much for watching, and until next time.